Welcome to the Spring Creek Bus Depot review by TransitSylveonHitomi featuring New York Bus Spanner. This depot houses the following routes: the B100, B103, BM1, BM2, BM3, BM4, and BM5, formerly the BQM1. The fleet of this depot consists of C40LFs, D4500 DLs, and D4500 CTs. This depot used to have the following fleets: Orion 7 Old Gen 3563 diesel unit, as well as Orion 7 CNGs and Orion 5 CNGs, but since then, all of these fleets have been retired. Now let's get to the history trip of this depot. The Spring Creek Depot is located on Flatlands Avenue, east of Crescent Street in the Spring Creek subsection of Brooklyn's East New York neighborhood, adjacent to the Brooklyn General Mail Facility and served blocks northeast of the Gateway Center. The depot was built and owned by the NYC DOT in 1996 and leased to Command Bus Company. It was sold to MTA Bus in early 2009. Command's previous depot was several blocks to the northwest on Montauk Avenue and Wortman Avenue, which now houses the school bus operations of the successor company, Varsity Bus Company. In 1988, two Orion 1 Command buses were fitted by the Brooklyn Union Gas Company with engines that operated on CNG. A compressor station was installed at the Wortman Avenue depot. By the mid-1990s, many of the buses operated by Command ran on CNG. Local buses out of this depot continue to operate on CNG under the MTA. Now, I don't live by Spring Creek Depot, but I have written some of their bus routes and stuff. Mostly the B103, of course. The B103 is a nice route. I do like it. However, it does have a bit too many turns, and let's just say it gets crowded a lot. So they could put Arctics on it, but I suggest no, because it's the B103. They can't do that. But anyway, yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this depot. It's a good depot. I do like it. They do treat their buses very well, except for 3563. But other than that, yes, they are treated very, very well. Now, since I don't actually live by any routes near the depot, here is a very good friend of mine who many of you should know. Here is Clayson, aka New York Bus Fanner. He has decided to join me in this review, and he also grew up with Command Bus Company. So, yeah. And, yeah, here he is.
This is my contribution for TransitSylveonHitomi, and I'll be talking about Spring Creek Depot, what I think about it, and the buses I rode from that depot and my experiences with them. So, as we all know, the Spring Creek Depot used to be part of Command Bus Company before being taken over, and yada yada yada. And Command used to have the MCI Classics, the GMC RTSs, Team CRTS CNGs, and of course the godly Orion 5 CNGs. After the MTA took over Command, it was the Orion 5 that lasted several more years up until 2013 after it was taken over by Command Bus Company. So starting with the Orion 5 CNGs, I have my experiences with those. The first one I can actually remember was 749 on the B103. At that time, it had a colorful back, as seen in this video from KC810. It had that back, and my goodness, that was a good bus to experience. And overall, having the Orion 5 CNGs on the B103 was a pure good treat because, this would ring. And yeah, now moving on, we have the MCI D4500 CLs and CTs. Those are excellent buses, excellent coaches. Go ride them on the Brooklyn Manhattan routes. You should love it, trust me. Moving on, we have the Orion 7 Old Gen Hybrids that came to Spring Creek by 2006. Those were great to see on the B103 and the B100. And yeah, I don't really have much to say about those. But I do miss that. I do miss when they used to run on those two routes. And then moving on, we have the C40 LFs that came in from 2011 to 13. Those are very good buses, especially on the B103. I had my experience on the B103 with them. Very good. The driver was fast. The bus sounded very awesome going fast. And yeah. But of course, I had more experiences with these on the B100. So yeah. And then, of course, we have the Orion 7 CNGs by 2017 when they came in from Jackie Gleason, many of them, and a few from West Farms Depot that also traveled to Spring Creek. Having those on the B100 and the B103 was the bomb, better than the C40LFs and the Orion 7 hybrids, obviously, due to the Series 50G gurgling growl sounds. Unfortunately, the buses were retired by 2018, but you can't do anything about that, they're already gone. And lastly, we have 3563, which was transferred to Spring Creek from JFK. Used to run from JFK, but then came over to Spring Creek. And seeing that on the B103 was a good treat, I'll admit that. And this took me by surprise because never in my life would I have thought 3560 would have transferred to another depot, but I was wrong. Unfortunately, the bus retired this year due to transmission failure, so yeah, it was good seeing it. Overall, I do like this depot. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's not the best depot, and it's not the worst. A fairly alright depot. It's fairly alright. It's certainly better than during command days. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So that's my thoughts about Spring Creek.
Overall, this depot is not the best. It's pretty decent, and yeah, I do like the depot and stuff. And yeah, overall, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. After command days, it's gotten a lot better. Trust me, it's gotten a lot better. And also, most of the routes are pretty good in this depot. So yeah. Don't I don't really care for this depot anyways, but yeah, it's a pretty good depot. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. This was TransitSylveonHitomi featuring New York Bus Guy, and have a great day, guys. Also, don't mind this pre-vost in the video, because this is, yeah, but anyways, 587 got in a crash earlier. It was bus number 587, I think, I'm not too sure. But surprisingly, I did catch it. So anyways, now I'm out. See you guys.